Daystar University having the most students around.
Thank you so much. Let's have the next question.
All right, how are you guys? I think I'm also very short. So my name is James from West Africa, Ghana. I've been serving as the ISADU chair for Nairobi campus, and I'm willing and very soon to hand over. I have 3 questions for these wonderful people, Steve and, can I face them? Steve and Metas. As you are aspiring, what will be your greatest strength? Looking at the international students, like this semester we have 270 international students who are in session. What will be your strength as a leader to serve these people? What will be your strength? Now I want you to answer this question looking at the number of international students you have. What will be your strength to lead? Because you are going to lead quite a number of nations or nationalities. So what will be your strength and strategy to work with these international students? Secondly, what is going to be your motivation when you have been called to serve and there is no money? I want to tell you, I have served there, and sometimes we have to make sacrifices. You know, they are not going to give you transportation to come here for a meeting. So what happens when there is no money for you and you still need to serve your people? When a student is in need, international student, there is no budget for that, but you have to sacrifice. What will be your motivation? Will you say, because I don't have money, I'm not going, or I will need a budget before I can reach out to these people? So what will be your motivation as a leader? And then finally, what practical things can you do to unite West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, North Africa, and the globe? What I want to hear 2 things you can do to unite the international students. My questions are clear?
Thank you so
right,
much,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much, James. James is the Vice President of ISADU Nairobi campus. And I think let's just have to go direct. For now, we are having a good number of international students, for about 240 something, whereby we are going to 300 to 500. First of all, what we are thinking, we want to make sure Daystar must have more than 500 to 1,000. What are we going to do? First of all, for the students we have, I've already started to create a way that we'll be having clubs for international students. What do I mean for this? We are forgetting that some of the international students, they're coming from different countries whereby they're non-English speaking countries. And I'll just go while I want to put the 2 questions together. Why we're having a problem of the people who are coming from the west of Africa and those who are coming from the central? First of all, we have a problem of language, the communication. Because some of them, they're speaking French, the others English. You know, I can tell you, some of us who are coming from French countries, it's really hard for us to relate. When it's your first year, again, look at your age. You are reaching Kenya, it's your first time to say good morning perhaps, while you want to cooperate with another person who's coming from the West and they speak English. So we always see it like a problem for the cultural diversity. So what we do, it's always make us not to be together, because your friends are speaking English, you are speaking French. To relate with them is a bit difficult. The only thing you can do is, I'm trying to see what we will do once we get the office to create an English club, whereby we will be sharing the small information we have about the language. I'll be inviting some, the host students and the other international students who may be informed about a little of English, so that we put it together. Because when I'm informed with someone who understands well English than me, I will catch it very well than just the lecturer. Because I know we have English 0 and 6, but sometimes it's even hard to go in the classes when the lecturer is telling you, present yourself, say even your name. Apart saying your name, the other words there is not easy. What we will do, we'll make sure the people from the West and Central must be together, while by just creating a cultural food whereby we have to share a kind of culture together. Because I remember we always have, every semester, we have a meeting of all international students. We bring them together. They have to share, first of all, their culture, their cultural aspects, whereby me from the central, I have to explain what we do, they have to explain what they do, and to make them feel they are together, no matter the language, no matter everything, we are from the same Africa, and those who are coming outside the Africa, we'll make sure we make them, they feel like they are together. To go to another question that he said about the transportation and everything, I think I don't want to say much about it because I've been facing it in Athi River. I can tell you from my heart, I've been facing a lot with the international students outside. For example, some of them, you are going to look someone, they have sent him money and everything, but because now, you know, as men, when we have money, we direct change. Someone has used all the money in 1 week, he has finished even the money to pay rent and everything. I can tell you myself, I have been, not that I have much, but I always assist my fellow brothers, even the money to pay their rent. Until the time when they send their money back, they give me that money because apart being me, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a restaurant, I farm the chickens outside there, more than 1,000. Whereby, yeah, some people, they call me Kamau. That's what I'm going to phone. I know Kiswahili very well. And I can assure you, the students, me sometimes, because I'm sorry to say sometimes, wherever I always rent my house, as I take 1 bedroom or more than 1 bedroom, because most of people I've been living with my brothers in my own house. Because as from the West Africa countries, we are like Luhias, whereby even this person is your uncle, or uncle to your uncle, so you can live together. We have been living more than 1 people in the house. To tell you that I always do it. Sometimes I always sacrifice my own fare when I want to go for some activities. Me and James, we are doing this program of Isadu dinner. He said it because I can tell you I know how much he has been sacrificing his own money on his pocket. Sometimes we pay our own fare, me and him, when we go for this, looking for the sponsors, going to embassies, bringing the letters there. I can tell you Isadu is about sacrifice, but you have to understand the people you are helping. Are you ready to do it? Because there is no payment. I always leave my businesses when I go to help students in Nairobi or everywhere.
Thank
so
you,
if I'm going to this, is because I'm willing and I'm ready to serve these people.
Thank you. Thank you for that response. I would like to request you to kindly take your seats. Let me have the Secretary General. If you're a nice... Sorry, kindly you can respond. Sorry about that.
So to the 3 questions that were asked, my strategy that I will use, the first one is inclusivity. I truly believe that people work better when they feel included in plans, in policies, and so I will really communicate with international students, regardless of the country, to see such issues such as our budgets, our locations, our events. And the second question, which was about how I will unite the international students, I will not only look to unite the international students, but I will look to unite them also with the Daystar students. I've talked to some international students and they told me that they feel very isolated at this school. They say that they feel like they're in a club of their own. But I asked them, how do you want to be included if there's only 3 of us vying for Congress? If there's only few of us on the dean's list? These are some of the issues that I want to address to them personally. And I feel like if you want to be recognized at the school, if we want to be united and we want to be seen in another light at the school, we need to involve ourselves, and that is what I will push for. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's appreciate these gentlemen as they take their seats. Thank you so much. The aspirants for the office of the Secretary General, kindly take the stage. Secretary General, kindly take the stage. Thank you. I would like to, let's be quiet kindly. Let's have some order. Thank you. Right away, just want to invite the moderators. They're going to take us through the next session. Please, let's be quiet. Thank you very much. Let's have the moderators take over.
Thank you, Aaron. I think I'd like to invite both of them to stand and face the podium. Both. Stand, we can use this. All right. I think you are now set. Please tell us, who is Paul Caleb Msando?
Yeah, thank you. Paul Caleb is the one answering you. I remain Caleb Paul. Many call me Msando, not for bad things. I've never been arrested. I've never done anything. I'm a man who knows what chapter 6 is. That's why they use that Msando. Yeah, I'm Caleb Paul. They are outgoing, but probably the incoming SecGen.
All right, thank you. Please tell us, who is Desmond Muine?
I'm a former campus director, Hals Prize, and I'm also a student of diplomacy. Peter Muine.
Desmond, please tell us, why do you want to be Secretary General of Daystar University?
I think leadership is subjective. And in the subjective nature of leadership, I believe there's some few loopholes that we can actually try fix, from fee, from basic food, from healthcare. There are a few loopholes that we can actually try create change. And that is why I feel like I'm more viable to actually bring this change with a team that is really, really authentic enough to actually walk around with.
Desmond, please tell us how you will bring about this change that you're talking about.
First of all, I'm a delegative leader. I believe in delegating skill sets. And as Daystar students, we have different skill sets. Change cannot actually come by the virtue that I've had an experience in running other platforms apart from Dusa. I feel like change will come if we actually, coexist and identify that as Daystarians, we have weaknesses, we have strengths, and through these strengths we can pull something unique and create an impact that benefits everyone. That is how I'll tend to bring change.
My question goes to Caleb Paul. Under your leadership, was the Communication Affairs Committee formed?
Communication Affairs Committee was formed, and I think the lady vying for Deputy President with Nalwa was the chair of that committee, if I'm not wrong. The committee is there.
Did they understand their role as stipulated in the Constitution?
Okay, my work is to make a committee to come and work. Number one,
as you make the committee, you also make sure they deliver to students. They never made a website for the Dusa Council, which runs opinions on issues of interest to the association. They never developed, or they are responsible for publicizing activities of the association. We never got to see that. Why?
Okay,
and how are you going to achieve that now?
Yes, I will answer you that, and you are getting the answer now. Number one, the website for Dusa, it's not made by Caleb Paul. Caleb Paul is just the SecGen. The website is made through a process, and it involves money, true or not true. And then when I've not been given the budget to make the website, I talked to the committee. They said, we really need money to make this website. You cannot make website anywhere with no money in Kenya today. And that was to be given by the treasurer. And we've missed treasurer for the last 7 months. it was not my responsibility to make the treasurer be there, but it was my duty to make sure that the treasurer is doing the work as the SecGen.
All right. So Kale Paul,
Yes.
the Communication Affairs Committee, as you
Yes.
state, was functional, right?
I still have, in fact, one thing that I will honestly do, I think the dean is around, with or without website, they will have to get their certificates for what they have done, whether late or not, because it's not their fault not
That's
to have a
besides the
website.
point.
Yes.
What I want to ask is, without it being as functional as we would have wanted it to be, or as stipulated in the Constitution, how were you able to gather, evaluate, and act on information from students to inform your decisions?
Okay, I'm happy you are saying a good thing, but we have involvement and Shine FM in the university. It's to my shock that they did not answer me this before, so that they could also come and help us, because you know the Shine FM and involvement, these are people that at least need to help the communication committee to function, not only the SG, but make sure that our committees are live and working. So from where I sit, I've told you that those guys have been working, but you remember that that communication committee is not only for the SecGen. It says that the SecGen and the president make the communication committee. So, and you know our president works in Odell, is an online president. So there are so many things that, actually you will not blame me, but you also need to know. Yes.
All right. As station manager for Shan FM, it's not my mandate to make sure your communication affairs committee is running. It's your mandate, right? So let's get that clear first. It is not our mandate to make sure you do your duties in office. That's not our mandate.
Okay, thank you,
Let's
Abraham.
start from
It's
there.
not a fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
A minute. Let me.
So moving forward, let's move forward. How are you going to ensure the Communication Affairs Committee is actually going to work moving forward?
As I've told you earlier, as I've said before, that the communication committee is both for the president and the SG. And my prayer now is that we find a president who is physically, number one, in school, who is ready to be up for the task, and a president that is there to be seen for students, so that as the SG, I don't have the whole workload for me, but I work with the president. But I'm happy that the guys vying here, they have been physically all through. So going forward, I'm going to have a committee that will involve not only the SG to answer Ebu, but even the president to help me answer the question. Thank you.
As my colleague said, Involvement and Shine are media spaces in Daystar. They are independent from Dusa. So my
Yes.
next question to Desmond, how will you ensure the Communication Affairs Committee is formed and runs fully?
First of all, I'm against committees being filled with non-Congress members. Let's put that straight. Another thing is I'm against committees having people who are not competently, able to run them. So first of all, the Communications Affairs Committee, can we have people who understand what communication is? Because as an IR student, I don't understand what communication is, and it will be illegal for me as an IR student to be a member of the Communications Committee. So that is the first step we will do. Can we put people who are really viable in these committees? If we do that, we're going to have efficiency.
Desmond Mwine, please let us know, how do you handle criticism?
No one is special. To my own school of thought, no one is really special. People who have been special, they've never had awards, they've never been in school. You have not to be special for people to talk about you. If you're special, people don't even care what you do. This is why I believe no one is special, and people have to talk. People have to, they need an opinion about you. So I'm well with criticism, because I know for a fact is that they criticize because they're not given a chance to do what exactly I'm doing.
All right, thank you. Same question to Kale Paul. How do
Yeah.
you handle criticism?
Okay, criticism. The reason why you've heard me saying criticism is because that out of that leadership that is outgoing, if there's anyone that has been criticized and is very positive about it, is Kale Paul. And I will take it honestly and understand everything you say. And you can ask the Congress that are outgoing. They know. Anytime they call me, like what even I'm saying now, that we have a president working online and we have no treasurer. You remember at some point as the SecGen, I had to come and put a hard skin so that I tell the student that we don't have a president and we are actually missing a treasurer. But you remember they called me and I was given names, but I didn't stop doing my mandate. Criticism I will allow. The only thing that I don't know whether you will allow me to say, that's why you've seen me sometimes given a kind of a smile face, because my friend is saying is from an IR class. But you know that Daystar we have INS. That is an INS 111 for all Daystar students. And you must be taught about communication. So, and when you look at things about communication, you will be told that meaning is individual and internal. Then you are told that communication is a key. You are told that communication is a key. Somebody is telling you that communication is a process. So I don't think that you leave out a student who is doing business not to be in part of the communication committee because they are not communication major. That's not the fact. I will tell you that I will allow critics yesterday, I allow critics today, I will allow critics tomorrow, because as a leader, you can't go with everybody. People will have to critique you. You remember, you've seen those WhatsApp groups? Yeah. Yes, I'm a Luo. Shrubbing is my nature. So you've seen those WhatsApp groups, and you've seen the kind of words that people are using there. I don't want to be an SG that looking like I'm in UN, where I want to work with goons and do all the stuff. I want to be an SG with a difference. And I think that is what Daystar want. So critics I will allow. Today, tomorrow, the day after, even when I'm an alumni, you
all
can
right.
critique me.
So let's talk about milestones. Yeah, you are Secretary General of Daystar 2021-2022, right?
Yes.
Please tell us 2 things that you feel you have achieved as Secretary General.
Yes, number 1, being a Secretary General, and the university has missed the events for quite time, you know. We have missed events for all that long time. The events are back with positive things and challenges. That's number 1. I think events have done my best. Yeah, and you can't make everybody happy. But starting to what I started as Daystar Talanta, to the other day that we did a SOEA, which I'm waiting for all the critics, you can't make everybody happy. So I think part of event, they are back and we are more to get more events. Number 2, the SecGen is not supposed to be in the TV. The SecGen is supposed to go to Senate to articulate the duties of the student, the well-being of the student. And I've done that. I've gone to the Senate, and you guys coming back here to talk to me physically, you remember you voted us online. I had to go to the Senate and say, no, we need to go back physical. And then I called the Congress and other council members. Come, we do this. I've also done that. Another thing that is the number 1 in my manifesto, I want to lobby for the review of the student handbook to eliminate some minor, I call them minor, because they are things that students have done, but I know they are minor. We will have to look into them. And I think our dean knows that we are yet to review that. So, and there is more to come. But every leader must have a challenge. Thank you.
You did not have a budget to enable the Communication Affairs Committee to create a website, but how did you finance the events, the Falcons event and the Soya event,
Okay.
if you do not have funds?
This our events, we make, it's not called, I've heard the treasurer, I'm sorry to say that, the treasurer saying they will give the budget to the Congress. I want to tell you an honest thing, because I'm one leader that I believe in saying the truth as it stands and doing the right thing, so that even if you are happy, you are hungry, but I've done the right one. Number one, the budget that we have, it's always called a proposed budget. We do our budget, we give to the dean. Then the dean tells us that the university has said this cannot be given, because for budget for DOSA is approved in the university council. That is the policy, leave alone the DOSA constitution. Yes, but then when we come back, what these people we need to give, we need to call them, this is the budget, look at it. Then we also reason together. You are aware that the budget that I was given for Soya, it was too little. The people that I work with will tell you. And if you want anything that I'm ready to do for students, to give you the receipt all, come Friday, so that you leave alone the abuses. They are too much, but I love them. Yes. And then the communication committees, the only budget we are given for, that we always do, that is what the university give us. In any time that we have, you belong to committees, anytime we have a meeting, there must be a refreshment for a committee. It's not a budget for, but that one I know, the website, even me, it worries me that I don't see my things I post in the website as I clear my term.
All right, thank you.
It's not my fault. Yes.
Desmond, please tell us 3 things that you'll do once you're in office, if you're in office.
First of all, we have an issue with our fee. Can we try and make it a bit smooth? It's absurd that when I'm going to pay 50%, an installment of 2,000 has been deposited to my account. And again, it's absurd that by the time I'm actually paying the other 50%, other 2,000 is added to my account. So they're telling me, we're actually charging you a bit for delaying to pay your fee. So can we have a smooth fee transition whereby low students pay a certain amount X, art students pay a certain amount X, and this amount doesn't fluctuate whatsoever, And despite that, can we have our food not that basic? Because I've been in Athi River for quite some time. The food is basic, you see. Where's the problem? And this is the irony, gentlemen and ladies. This is the irony. If you go to Chilton's, the food in Chilton's is cooked in the same DH. But how comes the food in Chilton is not that basic like the one in the DH? Then there's someone sleeping on their job. Can we actually bring checks and balances through the office of the SG? Sorry for that. I think my most important of the 3 is placement. Can we strengthen our placement office? You see, can Daystar place their students strategically with their skill sets where they want to be? Because if you're paying enough, the school should be able to allow you be absorbed in the market, regardless of who you are.
So please tell us the strategies and policies that you'll use to achieve all that you've mentioned.
The SG is probably, to me, the seat of power, and if the seat of power can actually have access to the Senate, then I believe the seat of power can actually negotiate what is best for students. That is one thing I am sure I will do. On the aspect of placement, if you know the codes of Daystar, and if you've been following, our Deputy Dean, Grace Karanja, when she was heading placement, we had all the best recruiters in Daystar. We had PwC, we had Deloitte, but when she left, these recruiters went. A time came whereby Deloitte could actually recruit management students from Daystar, and they could tell other recruiters, what, if it is management, please don't touch Daystar because that is ours to touch, you see. But when she left, everything went under. So where is the problem? The problem is not the office. The problem is a few people in the office. Aspect of following up. Can we follow up with the people we bring on board as partners?
You've talked about negotiation, right? So what's your negotiation style, and how do you plan on using this to your advantage?
Our biggest negotiation to any partner, to any sector-led institution out there is students. Students is our currency. The people, the Easter students are our currency. And if we're going to negotiate, we're going to negotiate on the basis that we have students who have different skill sets, and these skill sets matter in the market. So anytime we are going to negotiate with anyone who wants to bring change, wants to bring money in terms of any program, then our first point of reference is the Easter students. That is our bargaining chip. We have students. I'm going to give you an audience.
One last one from me. So if elected, what Congress reforms would you propose?
First of all, Congress are not elevated class prefects. That is very disrespectful. Second of all, it is very absurd that Congress committees are filled by non-Congress members. I saw that in the last government. What is a student who knows nothing on communication, only has a basic foundation, by the way, Msando, it's a basic foundation, INS, basic foundation. You see, someone doing communication, gentlemen, that is a fundamental foundation. He understands, you see. So the idea that we're having committees with non-Congress members, that is really disrespectful, because the only power you can give Congress people is allow them to chair their committees, be secretaries, and come up with proposals and counter-check the Dusa Council.
A question to you both. How do you plan on creating a positive, effective communication with the president in order to properly represent the student body?
I think I'll start with that. First of all, and ladies and gents, please allow me to use references of the previous government. There was a lack of communication, because I don't see the need of us as Dusa or Congress sabotaging senior officials. We did so bad sabotaging our president, though he had faults and weaknesses. It is not protocol. You don't sabotage your senior. But if we have effective communication channels, then trust you me, we are going to have a balance within the student leadership.
Okay, I want to retaliate before I answer you. And I'm saying that he's talking about, I wish you could have asked him. He's talking about disrespecting our seniors. He has been a senior running HALT prize for 1 year. Where did he took his, or rather, where did you take the committee members and everybody that you are working with? That's number one. Number two, the same gentleman standing with me said last year that his only manifesto was to give 200 plates to a River student that they are lacking food. How far did you do that? Now you are saying that you've been in a River, and you are saying that the food in dining hall is pathetic.
Excuse me, Msando.
Have you done anything to your 200 plates?
1 minute, Msando. As we answer the questions, kindly.
Yes.
As we answer the questions, let's remain objective. Please make sure you remain objective.
Yeah, okay. Let me now answer you. The committees, you see, from where I stand, I'm guided by the Constitution. And the Constitution is the body, the thing that guides me on what I actually do. That's why when I make the committees, the Constitution is very clear. For any law student here, I'm just a street lawyer. For any law student who is around here, the Constitution is saying Congress will be part of the committees. Congress make part of the committees. They have to be in those committees, but you also give opportunity to people who are not part of Congress, that you mix them. That is then now they work together. Not that you make the committee to be the Congress committee alone. Congress have a lot to do in their schools as matters, duties concern. So make these other people who are not part of the committee to come in, work with the Congress. Because if you look at these committees, the constitution is very clear. That is what I use. I don't use my books when I wake up in my hostel. I use the Constitution, and it says Congress are part of the committees.
Thank you, Musando.
Yes.
The next question is, what led you to want to come back as the Secretary General again?
Okay. I know this is a question that is very interesting, and I was waiting for it.
Answer, please.
Yes. As the SecGen, I just want to clear my term. And I want to clear my duties. I know there is what is called petty cash. Petty cash will make people to forget about what you've done. When somebody is given that, take this 200 and abuse Msando. Msando will not abuse or will not give a rebuttal, because I know if you look at my manifesto there, before that manifesto I have a verse. 1 Thessalonians 5:24. And it says, he who made you a servant is faithful. So whoever made me to be the SG, that was God calling me for this. So I want to serve my term. At the second term, as I move away, as I also become an alumni, maybe to serve as a master student. Thank you.
You have not answered the why you want to be
Okay, what made me to
Secretary
do?
General again.
You are asking me why is it I'm choosing to come again to be the SecGen. Is that
You are
what the
not
question-
answering the question.
Yes.
Why do you want to come back as the Secretary General? The why.
Okay, the question why. Yes. Yeah, the question why do I want to be the SecGen again? It is because I feel that I've done what I needed to do as a SecGen, and I feel to complete the house. When you build an house, you have to have and paint the house. So I've already built the house of that office of the SecGen. I want to paint it by serving the student the second term. Thank you.
So my next question,
Yes.
I would request you answer the question directly when
Okay.
I ask. My next question is, what prevented you from achieving what you want to achieve the second term, the first term?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. And that question, if you, where you sit, you have the Dusa Constitution, you will realize that there's nothing I've not achieved apart from the challenges that have faced me. Thank you.
Desmond, we have so many creatives in Daystar, yeah? In fact, we even launched Daystar Creatives Club, all right? So how will you create an environment for innovation around Daystar University?
First of all, I will, can we have innovation hub? Daystar Enterprise Limited is an example of an innovation hub that tries to, try to put every innovation within the school into one accord. Can we actually empower our own creatives? It's so saddening that in an event sponsored by your taxpayers, you as shareholders, the people performing at these events are not Daystar students. Some of the sound engineers are not even Daystar students, yet we have Daystar students who are good at sound engineering, good at MCs. And it's explicit in the lie that a honorable aspirant will stand next to me and say that he achieved everything when in the same events that we did yesterday, students in the creative sector were not actually given a platform to exercise their skill sets.
Please tell us what you will do different.
Give them a platform. Give them a platform, let them make mistakes. In making mistakes, let them grow.
A question to the outgoing SecGen,
Can
Sando.
Can I be allowed to answer about what he has said about giving student, because maybe the student that I gave the work, you don't categorize them as Daystar student. Maybe we have another Daystar that you guys know. Because the event that I did, I think Daystar Atlanta was a student MC. Fun Day, it was Joel and Sedo. Those are Daystar students. Soya, it was Tower and Angela. So I don't think if those ones are not Daystarians, you want Daystarians who are online, or you want... Actually, that is what I don't know.
Excuse me, candidates. Kindly, please make sure you are very objective. We are not here for supremacy battles. We want to get answers directly. Kindly. So we don't want to experience some counter attacks from both of you, because otherwise you're going to be disqualified. Those are the rules. Kindly answer the questions objectively.
My last question before we open for the audience. Considering Athi River is an arid and semi-arid land, what plans do both of you have for the environment, specifically for off-campus community?
Plant more trees. Plant more trees. Avoid littering and just plant more trees, nothing else.
That's good on paper. How are you going to actualize it?
We have an environmental club. Can we as Dusa recognize them, and can we actually come up with initiatives and bring them on board and just plant more trees? That is possible, because I've seen it happen a bit. Can we do it now on a broader aspect?
Caleb?
Where I stand, one of the functions for the SecGen is to oversee the running of activities. Do you remember the time we were planting trees there? I was there. That is the work that an SG needs to do. And then the governor now will lead that committee. And the governor will tell me that we're having this tomorrow. We're having this next week. Then as the SecGen, what you come is moral support. I come and make sure that I work with the governor in the time of planting, watering, and checking that the plants are well taken care of. That is what an SG needs to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to open. Okay, wow. Let's start from this side. Kindly come. Let's be quiet, kindly.
God is good and all the time. First of all, I'd like to pass my greetings to the Dean of Students. Yeah, he's like a father to me, so I have to acknowledge that. Yeah. So my question is for both aspirants. As you all know, the SG is the spokesperson of the council. He is ex officio to the Congress. But my question basically is, as a student of Athi River campus and many other, we always pay for the dining hall, right? And at the end of every semester, there's a certain amount of money which remains. The 30,000, the 29,600 does aishangi. So, how, as the voice of the council, as the ex-official, as the face of the council, what measures will you, are you planning to put in place so that that amount, it's better that amount be carried forward than, because we always pay the same 29,000 again afresh, yet kuna pesa ubaki. So what will you do as the spokesperson of the council?
Thank you, Jim, for that wonderful question. And the only way to answer that, because you know that the policy, we can't go against the policy of the university. Whether you are SecGen with 5 gowns, you can never go against the policy. That is number one. Number two, you know very well that we always have student baraza. So if you want any policy to be changed, my only humble request that such question you need to raise them when the management is here, so that they are the ones to change the policy. Me as the SG, I will not go and tell the finance manager that now I'm the student SG. Can I know the balance and they be returned? That can never work in any organization. It can't be given back unless they are ready to change that policy. And when you can do that is when we have a baraza. That can be done. If they accept, who am I not to tell them that you said that to be changed? Because that balance, even if you go and eat in any hotel, a serious hotel today, you won't be returned for balance. It will have to remain there. But coming to the university that you feel that you've used your money because you are eating per day and you know what you spend every day, so that when you have balance, that's a policy, I think, but that is a question that the governor and the governor can answer. But let me answer on behalf, because SecGen look at the overrunning of activities, but I don't think that will work unless the policies change. We have the policy and the constitution.
Thank you, Msando.
Can never work is quite a confident term to use. Yes, Jim, it can work. Why? The Dusa Council under the Treasury has an audit committee, and through a stronger audit committee, it's either that balance is carried forward or done away with. Yes, it can work, Jim.
Thank you, thank you. Let's take some more questions. A lady first. A lady first.
Good evening. I'm Mure Shelmith, and I'm addressing Sando. I'm holding the manifesto. I read it last year, and it seems it's the same. Umefanya. Now, umesema you have done things, including the communication team, committee. Tell us what they have done. Secondly, your manifesto number 3, ensure timely conversion of student baraza. I think your baraza was, the baraza was here, but it came time yenye unataka kumaliza office. Tena, that is a question I want you to answer. Soea. What, you are in Soya, but hatukukuona. What happened there? Ulikuwa wapi? Nilikuwa hapo, na nini ilifanyika? Accountability.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelmi. Thank you, Shelmi. Yeah, thank you for your question, and I will be honest with you. And if you read my number 3, I think it took some kind of humiliation, some kind of, maybe I don't call them threats, but it took so many things for that baraza to happen. I don't know whether you are in Daystar, because towards, yeah, I'm very serious. I'm giving a genuine answer. Last year, you remember I wrote an email and I called all the students for baraza, and I always write an email to the authority. To my surprise, that when you find the CEO speak of that, and the CEO tell you that don't do that, and you are just, remember I'm the SG, but at the end of the day, I'm a student. So remember when I was told that you don't have, that baraza will not go on. So I don't think that Kalepol is wrong. Kalepol cannot go on with the baraza. If you are checking the emails, you will find, and I've gone there, and I'm happy that the people that I work with, the speaker is here, he's running for president, the governor is here, he's running for president. They are aware that I had made the baraza at the right time. And I was told, stop that. You remember the last one it was even in the chapel about the grievances, if you still remember. And I had to turn back, not coming to the chapel when I had reached somewhere there, to go back and at least rest, because at the end of the day, I also have classes to attend, in as much as I'm a leader. So that baraza is not my fault. Going forward, you also need to help me. When I said that the barasa is not there, you can drop an email and tell whoever that is saying that should not have it, so that we have it. That is what is called pick-up room.
Let's go to the next question.
Yeah, the next question was about Soya, where I was. I will tell you an honest thing, that if you are still alive, people will love you, even the people behind you, somebody next to you. But when you have a problem, I can't go against the law of nature. If I become sick, I'm a normal student, I'm a human being. The only thing I told you even there when I talked, that as a gentleman, what I lose is my temper. But when I become sick, is it me to control? This life I have, it can go today. If it goes tomorrow, all of us are not here permanently. So you are asking if I'm sick. And I think I had my committees. You can't take an injection when you are okay. And there was nothing wrong with me. Things that are being said, those are politics. But I was sick. So I was there, and I tell you, every committee and everybody, people must have challenges.
Thank you,
Yes.
Msando. Thank you. Let's take 2 more questions, kindly. 2 more questions. Someone was not spoken. Yes. We're going to have a lady. So if after Navarro, we're going to have a lady. So please forward your questions to the person who is going to be speaking next because of time.
Good evening, everybody. I'm the incumbent School of Communication leader, and I actually have a problem with how communication has been passed to students over the past few months with Caleb Paul as the Secretary General. And with a keen interest, I remember once telling you that probably you're suffering from something we call histrionic personality disease. This is where you're unable to say something direct to the point, and you use certain words that try to, I don't know. But my point is this. There's a certain email that was sent, I don't know, talking about comrades plethora, discombobulation. Who knows what that means? Nani anajua discombobulation ni nini? Wewe peke yako. Okay. So I fail to relate to certain things like that, because when you are sending information to quite a number of people at different levels, you use the simplest language possible, but it has not been the case. So my question to both of you would be, how are you planning to effect that in a way that information cuts across everybody, and we can actually get to understand what you mean in your communications? Yeah.
Thank you, Navarra. I remember that was the time you faced me with Chris Limo, and I answer you that time. And you guys, I told you that change is inevitable. If you don't like tough terms, I will use the simple one, but sometimes you use tough words to get solutions done. Not that we are threatening you, or rather we are telling you how those terms we can use. But I remember since we talk and you are one of my committee members in communication, I said, okay, simple English matter. Thank you.
There's someone saying, Sando, one of the strengths of a good SG, he must be a good planner and a team player. Do you count yourself as one? And based on your previous records, can you show how a good planner and team player you are?
Oh, thank you, Navarra, because even you are taking it from somebody. That means it's not your own word, it's somebody telling you, can you ask him this? You are not sure, but I'm telling you, I've worked with the committee and I've listened to them. And I started by telling you everybody have their challenges. And maybe my strength is always your challenge. But everybody's not permanent. Everybody can change at any moment, at any time. Therefore, ask my committee that.
Thank you. Let's have that question, and then please, if you can make it as brief as possible, just one question, no more. Maritim, kindly.
Sando, I have a question for you regarding SOEA. So now, the committee, first of all, your committee has been complaining 1,000,001 times about you and how you work with them. Let information, I was able to work with you for a short while during SOEA. I was part of the communication department, and I can say sometimes we didn't even know what to say. You ask questions and you are just there because I also don't know, because no information has gotten to me from the higher person. Secondly, SOEA, the awards. You sent us Microsoft links to vote for people.
Let's be quiet, kindly.
No, let me finish. To vote for people we want, first of all, we nominated them. That was okay. Then the nominees, you sent another link, we vote for them. We did that. We get there, people who are not even on the list are being given awards. Honestly, that was so wrong, very unfair to the people who actually voted for, because you asked us to do that. How can we even trust you now to lead us again, because you have already failed us as comrades just by that one thing you're supposed to do? And the opposition leader also has something to say. Please allow him to say something.
Thank you very much.
Allow me to answer before you talk.
No,
You can actually write them down,
just
Sando.
take the questions.
There's something called writing points down.
Let's
Which reminds me that you've never given students a report from Senate meetings. So learn to write points down. It will help you a lot in your leadership. Two, how can we trust you with leadership yet on 16th September 2021?
Let's be quiet, kindly.
You sent an email on Outlook for everyone to see that we no longer have a president or a treasurer. Basically, you pulled a coup d'etat. What was that all about? Can we trust you with leadership if you're not sober-minded? Then, as I finish, final 30 seconds, accountability. I was being called when you released your Fund Day poster with your own M-Pesa number, collecting funds from students. For the first time ever in the history of Daystar, Fund Day was charged from 0 shillings all the way up to 250. I posted in groups asking you for accountability, and you had the audacity to call my number and insult me. So how can you stand there and say that you are an accountable leader?
Thank you.
Then finally, did you take 5,000 shillings from an off-campus wines and spirit to bribe Congress last year, next to Harry? Thank you.
Let me start with the last question. Number one, I know how my brother is bitter, but Kale Paul is not responsible for anybody's success or failure. But
please answer the question.
Yeah, let me answer the questions. Number one, you said that we don't have a president.
Let's be quiet, kindly.
You say that I send an email that we don't have a president. That is not true. I send an email that Marco Laboso and Wamboi Njoroge are out handling the personal needs. They will be back in the office. And if you read that constitution, it says correctly that in the absence of the president, the deputy president will take charge. A whole orientation week, you miss to have a president in the university, surely. A second orientation come, the president is not even there. We go to Senate. I know Dean cannot say this, but when we go to Senate, I'm being asked, where is the president? Because there I go with what I'm being given, not what Kale Paul asked. Was that what I did? So the ball was with the Congress to decide. The decision they made, they know. Actually, those guys know the decision they made. Number two, you talked of 250. That was a fiction. It was 150. Already even yourself, you're adding 100 more. That is not part of what I told the student to do a subsidize. And if you remember the last SOEA we went to, Abraham, you were in that committee, to be honest. How many people were given food? Before I came in the office, how many? And then, how many people went for swimming? That heated water. Nobody. People did not swim. By the time I came and picked your 150, people ate, and people who took 3 plates, they were having a lot of energy to abuse me. I accepted. Number 2, the people who went to swim, there were 69 who went for the heated water. Calculate 69 by that price there, that is 500. Is it that I did anything? And what you are saying that I took 5,000, my friend, I've never taken bribe. People voted for me last year with not paying anything. If you want me to give you anything as a matter of evidence, there are people who have even given money so that Msando cannot be voted for him. But people didn't know they were personal friend, very personal. I can add my hand, very personal. People are being given things. Even right now as we speak, people are being given bribes. I will not give because the work that I'm going to do doesn't require bribe.
Thank you. Thank you, Sando. Let's have the last question. Soya Awards, please respond to that.
Soya Awards, any government that every government has their people, and I told my committee, the only thing that don't respect somebody because he works in the council and is your friend, or rather somebody works in the council and you've never come into terms with them. Give everybody a chance when they are leaders, because your time is coming. You will also be a leader. You will also require the same opportunity. You are given ample time to lead. So in as much as you may not, me, I don't always need somebody to respect me, or rather fear me. What I did,
please
relax. I'm giving you an answer. I'm very relaxed where I am.
Please answer the question.
So what I did, I told them that you know that we are now having campaigns. And because I have interest.
The question is, did
yes,
the awards
I'm
go
coming
to
to answer
right
you the awards,
people?
how it came about. Because I have interest now, I told the committee, and the ones who are in that committee know, that having an interest in becoming an office again, 1 month to that time, in fact right now I would have said that I'm no longer in the office, going by the constitution. I know lawyers are here. And I told my governor in Nairobi, because he's also not having interest on those of us who are vying.
The question
Governor has
is,
the interest. I'm
Msando,
coming, I don't
Msando,
just relax.
kindly, because of time.
I'm answering you. Give me time, Maritim, because you also work with us.
Kindly,
yes.
Msando, let's answer the questions directly.
Yes, I'm
the
answering
question
the
I want
question.
you to answer right now
Yes.
is, did the awards go to the deserving people?
Okay, awards were given to the deserved people. Everybody will not be satisfied with whoever is given. And the people that you think that were not awarded, not everybody will go to heaven.
Thank you. That is it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's have the last question, kindly. Let's have the last question that is directed to Mr. Desmond. Let's be quiet, kindly. Let's take the last question directed to Mr. Desmond.
One house, everyone. One house, everyone.
Let's be quiet, kindly.
Clearly, the outgoing Dusa government is clearly incompetent. That's why I'm
Let's go to the question. Let's go to the question.
So, my questions are out to Desmond, since I can't ask Msando questions, because he's been in seat and he hasn't changed. So, Desmond, how will you end conflicts between Dusa and the Congress, because clearly there's a crisis? And lastly, you talked about sabotage. How are you going to counter conflict of interest between Dusa and the admin and Congress? And lastly, do you believe in impeachment as a way to solve conflict?
First of all, I don't believe in impeachment as a process to solving conflicts. Can we have one house? I don't really believe in impeachment as a process to solve a conflict, because impeachments cannot work here in an institution. We are under the Duale Act. We are not a political party, so impeachment is a party process. There are no parties in Daystar. So we cannot actually solve issues through impeachment. This is what we are going to do, Bo. One thing is this. Can we have a conflict resolution committee? And in the conflict resolution committee, can we have a director? And can the director be the chairperson, who is the president or the secretary general, and one council member? Because truly the fact is this, 3 people in a conflict resolution committee cannot have a conflict of interest. So that if we are having issues within Dusa, let it be an in-house issue. You see, if we are having wrangles within Dusa, let it be an in-house issue. Why? Because we have a conflict resolution committee whereby nothing gets out, anything that gets in doesn't get out. You see, it's so saddening that students have to walk around, sabotaging leaders, saying how incompetent they are because of, issues that can be solved through having a conflict resolution committee. Your second question, which I think it's also a crucial one, conflict of interest between the admin and the Congress and the Dusa. This is it. We will have crisis, that is a fact, because as a mere mortal, as Peter, I have weaknesses, a lot of them. You see, I have an ego, and I need someone to do an ego check with me. And if I don't allow the Dusa or Congress to do an ego check with me, hell no, we are going to have crisis. And this is how we are going to solve this crisis. Those who are doing law, there's what you call force majeure, whereby you create ad hoc committees. An ad hoc committee is formed when there's a crisis. You see, something that needs to be handled immediately. Can we do that? You see, can we come up with ad hoc committees? Something like Soea, if this was a crisis, and an ad hoc committee could actually handle it, because this is a crisis, there's a food, how can we form an ad hoc committee to counter food immediately? You see, and once food has been given to everyone, relapse the committee. Basically, that's how we're going to run Dusa, not through impeachment.
Thank you, gentlemen. Kindly you can take your seats. Let's appreciate them as they take their seats. Next, we're going to have the presidential candidates and their deputies. Presidential candidates and their deputies, kindly take the stage. Thank you. This is going to be the last session of the debate. Allow me to give you some instructions kindly. We're going to start with the deputies. We're going to start with your deputies. And then after the deputies, we are going to have the presidential aspirants. So deputies, kindly take your stage on the microphones. Moderators.
Please introduce yourselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Sorry, good evening. It's already past 5. I acknowledge the Dean. I acknowledge the Corporate Affairs Office and all the students. I'm happy to be here. I'm Margaret Mushoki. I'm a second-year communication student from Valley Road. I'm a deputy president aspirant to make it happen.
Good evening. My name is Diana Monte. I'm the outgoing Deputy Speaker, Nairobi Campus, and I'm vying for Vice President.
For a start, I think Diana should move closer to the mic. I have a question that goes to both of you. We've had numerous cases of sexual harassment. We've had numerous cases of harassment even from the security. In 30 seconds or less, how do you plan on engaging with the administration to address such issues?
First of all, when it comes to sexual harassment, maybe it's because we do not have enough CCTV cameras to show those cases and what happens. So when people are brought forward, there is a lot of denial. So one of the issues I plan to address with the administration is to make sure that we have more CCTV cameras. We have to make sure that they are working so that we can see what is happening within the school compound, so that when an allegation is brought, someone is not coming to deny. And also, with the people who have been sexually harassed, we want to make sure that they go through counseling. We will make sure that they are not shamed or threatened by the people who are harassing them as not to come out. I think that's what I can promise for now, and that is not something I can do alone. I have to work with the school administration and DC3.
All right, thank you. Diana, same question.
Thank you for that question. First of all, I'd like to begin with saying that in Nairobi campus, that has been handled in terms of CCTVs that has been installed. Second of all, we had an issue with the security people in Nairobi campus who are insulting, not directly, but with words, and that case was taken straight to our Madam Grace, and from there it was sorted. So I feel like when I get into that position, we are going to have, or rather I'll make sure that we have more steps that are going to be implemented to make sure that women do not go through any sexual assault of any type.
Please give us an example of one of these steps.
Okay. One of my steps, first of all, is going to, I will approach the management. I will want to hear their view on the case that I will have brought on the table. I want to hear what they are going to say and how they would advise me to take a step towards that. Second of all, I will make sure that I have talked to the people who have been assaulted. I hear what they would want me to proceed, which way they would want me to proceed, because that is their problem. And I feel like if you are sexually assaulted in any way, a lot of respect is required, because that is their story to tell. It is not my story to tell. So before I have gone or I've taken any step, I will make sure that I have talked to the people who have been insulted first. They themselves can give me a way forward.
All right, thank you. You understand your roles are stipulated in the Constitution, right? Mm-hmm. And one of your roles is actually forming an academics committee. We've had one which was very dormant. Nothing actually happened. So I'm trying to understand from where you sit, both of you, how are you going to address issues of lecturers who miss classes, lecturers, we've had instances where they teach you using YouTube, yeah? We've had instances where lecturers are very rude to their students. Since this falls directly in your docket, how are you going to make sure the narrative changes?
You're able to, oh, okay, it's working. So one of the things that I'm planning to do as a deputy president is to set up a committee. As you've echoed, we had a dormant committee for academic affairs. I think most of us, especially from Valley Road, do not even know the members of the committee. And as someone who has been in a committee before, and someone who has seen the weaknesses of a committee, this is a very serious docket, because one of the major reasons why we are here, all of us, is to study. So I'll incorporate the Congress in the committee with all the schools that we have and with what the Constitution says about the members of the committee. I'm sure that we can put at least one member of the Congress from each school to represent their schools in the committee, because that is something that is so important. And then something else, I will also make sure that my committee works to bring all these issues that we have, because they'll be competent, like the schools they're coming from, they'll bring their exam issues, their missing mark issues, and then now we will use that to go to the people who are responsible, to go to the lecturer, to the director of academics, to the deans, to make sure that we follow up with the results.
All right, thank you. Diana?
Thank you. I think being in that situation previously, where we had lecturers who are quote-unquote incompetent, I feel like, first of all, I would start working with the Congress immediately to make sure that they themselves, as the backbone of this institution, as the backbone of the association, Dusa, that they are well informed about their roles as the Congress people, specifically in their own schools. Second of all, I will make sure that if a complaint is brought to me, I will go straight to the respective deans or to the respective HODs to see what can be done so that those lecturers who have been incompetent can be dealt with.
All right, final question. From your point of view, what do you think the Daystar University administration should do to provide an equitable quality education for all, and how will you work with them to prioritize these reforms?
One of the issues in my manifesto is the review of the school curriculum. This semester, the School of Communication curriculum was reviewed based on a survey that has been taken from the communication students about some units that we've been doing, like INS 313, that are not necessarily relevant to our curriculum. And we have several students from different schools who feel like we need to do something about their curriculum. So one of my agendas is to make sure that in collaboration with the HODs, the Congress, and the students themselves from those schools, we can run a survey first of all, so that we ensure that the students are involved in the entire process of what units do they want added into their academics. Like the people from IR, they want a language introduced. They also want criminology introduced so that they can be competent like students from other universities do the same course. And I'm sure there are other students too. So we will do a survey, and then after the survey, now we can go to the HODs, we can go to the deans and see how we're going to review, because I feel like we're paying a lot of school fees as students not to have our curriculum incorporate everything, and that will work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to point out that reviewing a curricula is a very long process. It takes time, and it takes a lot of revamping for the students to actually work with that curricula that is going to be changed. So what I will do is make sure that some of the quote-unquote unnecessary units are going to be combined. Like, I don't see a reason for us to have 4 BILs or 4 INSs, and those are things that can be combined to be one unit that is going to be beneficial to the students, instead of you paying separately for 4 INSs, and yet they're basically the same thing. Yeah.
All right, thank you. We invite the presidential candidates to step forward. Please introduce yourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Nalwa Walter. I'm a project manager organization, and at the same time, I'm the current main campus governor, and I believe I'm your servant.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, good evening at the back there. Thank you so much. My name is Noel Shimba. I am a former speaker, in fact, the first speaker ever in Daystar University, and I am a Dusa presidential aspirant 2022-2023. Thank you so much.
All right, question to both of you. What are the most important or the most current challenges facing our school community, and how do you propose to address them?
Thank you. The one question that is disturbing everyone is the issue of mental health. Why mental health? So many students have joined Daystar. So many students have deferred from school. Reason being, nobody knows. If they come to you, they go to DC3, they go to whichever office or the counseling department, they'll not talk about the real issues. But the real issues, they're the ones who know. What will we do as the Dusa Council? As the Dusa Council, the first thing that we can do as a president is to be approachable, to be available, and to be accessible to each and every student here within the campus. Thank you. The moment I become accessible and approachable to all students within the university, these students will feel free to come and air their real issues to me. And because they trust in me, and I've done that before, no student will suffer in my presence. And if there is any student, and again I repeat, if there is any student who has come to me, they have aired their issues, and I have not addressed to them, I kindly ask them to stand and say which issue was that I did not tackle, that I did not follow up, because I believe that leadership is not all about talking and saying, oh, we will create roads, oh, we will create this, but literally actioning on each and every policy that is within the institution.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the most important issue we are facing right now is the disappearance of students without us knowing where they are. Really, that is the topmost priority that we must be able to consider, because we cannot be here as students not knowing where one or two of us are, and there is no communication being given yet. I think one of the things that we need to do is to improve our surveillance in the security sector, so that we can have the administration or the security monitoring the events of students within and also, I assume, outside the campuses. Really, I am troubled by the fact that our security are much interested with with the internal part, with how with how you are dressed or whatsoever. I think that is one of the things they should look at, but majorly they should focus on the security of students, because here in Athi River, I must tell you, some of us are confronted by lions at night. You are all aware about that. The leopard issues. What about the hyenas? Security is the topmost priority that we must embark on as an administration, as the student body. We should ensure that we keep track record of wherever our students are, first and foremost. Our second issue, majorly here in Athi River campus, and I will work hand in hand with the governors who have just spoken right now. Social welfare. There is far too much confusion happening in the DH. Yes. Food quality is deteriorating at an alarming rate. Because I'm assuming, members, you are part of that. We have a committee in charge with that. I have been a speaker, and I have been receiving committee reports about the same. There is no reason why students should not be...
Let's be quiet. Audience, kindly, let's be quiet. Continue.
Thank you so much. There is no reason for a student not to get services that equates the amount of money he has paid. And yes, we will work hand in hand with the administration to ensure that if you miss breakfast, if you miss lunch, that amount of money will be refunded to the next STEM. Jim, you are right. Jim Clyde, you are right in your opinion, and you are allowed to think in that direction.
Noel,
because that is exactly what we are going to do. Yes.
Noel, that's good on paper. Which reforms and policies are you going to put in place to make sure all that you're saying is actually actualized? Number one, it's not the mandate of Catch Security to do patrol of campus. So how will you convince them to do that? Number two, how will you convince the school to minus money which has already been accounted for to cater for next semester?
Thank you so much for your question. First, I'll begin with the receipt, the one that is most sensitive. Why should we receive receipts anyway? If they cannot refund the money, why should we have receipt? You should have meal card so that it shows you are a student eligible to eat in the cafeteria, and that's it. If you can have a receipt that says 80 shillings for breakfast, a receipt that says lunchtime 100 bob and supper the same, then it means there is some amount of money that will remain, Avram. And that is the money we want it to be carried forward. That is one.
Security
issues. Yes, Catch should not patrol, but you are wrong in your assessment. Catch normally patrol when we are having games. You normally see them there. What about when we are in the hostel? Don't you see them there?
I'm talking about off campus, not on off campus.
Okay. Again, my issue, my statement was not addressed to cover off campus. But if we can have security, if you can have CCTV surveillance at the gate there, then it would have shown us. It would have shown us when and where a student is going, and that is exactly what we need. We need CCTV surveillance and CCTV footage. That, yes.
Let's assess off campus. Off campus is not the gate. We're talking about off campus all the way till Mexico and Moscow, because the student disappeared off campus, not on campus. So in your assessment of security, what reforms and measures and strategies are you going to put in place to make sure security is not only on campus, it extends beyond?
Thank you for that question. One thing that we will do, you do realize that recently we have a police post here, and I have managed to create a good relation with, if not all, then most of them. And I think they should be charged with the responsibility of looking at our comrades outside there, where they are, and if at all they are found to be contradicting the law, then it is upon me as the incoming president to use my good relation and ensure that students are secured.
I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
We have a police post, but they are tasked with patrolling on campus. My question again, how are you going to ensure the security applies off campus?
Did you just say that the police are supposed to patrol off campus, and then you are asking me about off campus again?
Listen to the question. What I'm saying is, when it gets to 11 or 11:30, okay?
Yes.
Policemen from the police post come on campus to patrol on campus.
Right.
My question is, how will you then convince them that the off-campus is a priority and that them patrol off-campus?
Students of Daystar University, if they are at off-campus, they are bound within the Constitution of Kenya. And police not only serves the citizen, but will also serve the students. I think you should get that right. And also, inside campus, we will give catch security and ample time to patrol and ensure that students are not faced with any danger, be it in wildlife, be it a danger from the students of their own. Thank you so much.
A question to Noel, and also Nalwa can answer. When you were the speaker of the outgoing government, that is the Dusa government, 2021-2022, the Congress, or some of the Congress members, boycotted a sitting since they were not being paid. So how do you plan on not having this happen under you? Because why are they not serving students just because they're not being paid?
Thank you so much. And I must tell you, my dear, you are wrong in your assessment. Really, you should have asked first, why was there not enough quorum to conduct a business? But you must understand, as the speaker, you cannot continue without 2/3 of the members present, and you might not be able to tell why a member is not present at that time. And as a speaker, I will tell you, if there is no quorum, I will suspend the sitting to a later date.
That goes against your word that you gave an interview to Involvement last year. The recordings are available. You said that they boycotted because they are not being paid.
You asked me a question about why was there lack of quorum. And one of the many reasons I gave you while you are serving at Involvement, I was able to tell you that the administration did not honor part of their deal. And that is the reason I thought maybe the Congress are not showing up. But I will tell you that we have our clerk here, Siam, who normally takes the register, and why the Congress have not showed up for a meeting. Actually, you are overestimating my role as the speaker. My role as the speaker is to chair meetings, to chair Congress sessions, but really not to know where and who is not present. That is the work of UNICEF. Please, you can excuse me for that, yeah?
Thank you. Nalwa?
Okay, to respond on the question, I as a leader, I believe there must be seamless communication, there must be seamless flow of activities between all the leaders who are mandated to represent any department. And to that particular scenario, whatever Noel is saying, I don't believe is true, because we as the Dusa Council, we are supposed to work hand in hand with the Congress. But here comes a scenario whereby the Congress is working as an independent department and the Council is working as an independent department. I, as the member of the Dusa Council, what am I supposed to do if the Speaker of the Congress or that representative from the Congress hasn't told me that in the House we had a sitting and this is what we discussed. Here are the minutes. Let them present the minutes they had. Let us see how the conversation was so that it can be clear to both parties. Not we telling the students, Congress is fighting council. Congress wasn't fighting council, but it was a battle of who is superior. But in my leadership, I believe in matters concerning the budget, it has to go through the Congress, and the entire Congress, I believe the Speaker will be present, will have the House committees, not committees by the governor, but House committees that will be in charge of foreseeing any activity that is going on campus, not only in matters money.
Yes.
Kindly allow me just respond to one issue that he talked about. As a leader, again, I believe a leader must have information. We can lie to these students right now here that when you come next semester, you will pay 29,000. Then when you don't deplete your money, you will be refunded. That's a lie. When you look into the Daystar University policy documents, number one, there is that cafeteria that is beside the dining hall. If you want your money to be carried forward, there is a cafeteria there. You can go pay there, and the entire amount you pay, it's deducted according to how you spend in a day. If you don't spend in a weekend, it's carried forward. If you pay in the dining hall, that entire amount, definitely, because there are people working there, they have prepared. You've not said you are coming to eat today. You've not said you're coming to eat in the afternoon. So who are you? Why should you come and claim you want to be refunded? Yet you did not say. But I believe it's not cast on stone that it cannot be implemented. I believe again it's not cast on stone that these policies cannot...
Let's be quiet, kindly. Let's be quiet.
I believe, I'm finishing. I don't mean again these policies cannot be amended. With a focused Congress, with a focused council, with the right mindset, with the student interest at heart, I solely believe that we can formulate a policy, not only in food, but bereavement policy, students' handbook, Daystar University constitution, and everything can run in tandem with what the students want.
Thank you. Please. I noticed that he said I lied. Can I respond to that, please?
In a minute or less.
Thank you so much. Really, members, I must tell you that the gentleman seated on my left is guilty of the most shameful lie. That the lie that he's trying to say is that Congress...
Excuse me.
Ideally...
Excuse me.
Yes.
Let's remain objective. Let's remain objective in the response of our questions.
The idea of Congress being an independent body and that it wants to operate independently is a lie. Because, again, he has standing committees that Congress themselves work inside the food committee, the sports committee. Those are Congress working in those committees. So you cannot tell us that Congress has been working independently and that we have not been able to collaborate. And policies are meant to change. I have been making ways where it appears there seems to be no way. And Congress, they will tell you that there was a policy. There was Congress, we were having Congress for the first time and they were talking about remuneration. I should tell you this for sure. It took us more than 7 months, but we were able to reach an agreement with the administration, and right now it's being paid. So what is in the policy is subject to change. And as a leader, you must be transformational, not just conforming to the patterns of the policies.
Mr. Moderator, kindly, can I just put it clear to students, because it will not be fair if we speak out of rumors. I, as the governor, I had committees, and all the committees were running smoothly from the first week when I was elected. And the reason as to why I'm saying so is because I talked to all the congressmen, because my mandate is here in Athi River. I told all the congress within Athi River campus, tell me the committees in which you feel like you can serve best so that I can insert you in willingly, not favoring a person because of how they are or how they are affiliated to me. I told those congresspersons to come and work with me. I had congresspersons and I had other students who are not in the house, but they are good in delivering service. These congresspersons served diligently, I can assure you that. And to date, if you ask any other committee which was working, they'll tell you only the committees that I had and the committees that I was guiding are the ones who are working. And that is why you are seeing the little effort we have done here in Daystar. It's not because of Nalwa, it's not because of that chairperson in that committee, but it's because of the cooperation of both the students, the committee members, and all the measures that we put forth to ensure we tackle the administrative issues.
Let's talk about teamwork, right?
Yes.
You've mentioned about bringing together committees